Hi everyone, I'm DJI from Wiser Biker and today is another bike review day. And today is going to be very special because it is first time in the history of our channel that we are doing a bike of this category. And it is the Mini Velo category. And we have got here the Mini Velo. In fact, the latest Mini Velo from Polygon. It is the Zeta Fitte. Alright, before we start, let me express my gratitude to Rodalink Singapore again for lending us this bike to make this review possible. Okay, we have ridden it for some time and I've got quite a lot to tell you. Well, let's go for a ride and I'll tell you more about it. Alright, first thing first, let's look at the specifications of this bike. The frame is an aluminum frame and its free size, well, it's already mini. As for the group set, we've got Shimano Tiagra and that is a 2x10, which means it's a 20-speed group set. Now we've got the Tiagra shifters and both front and rear derailleur, all from the same series. For the crankset, we've got a compact crankset from Praxis, 5034 chainring, together with a cassette that is 1134T from Shimano. And lastly, for the drive chain, we've got a KMC chain. Next, about the wheel set. We've got aluminum wheel set, 20-inch. In fact, it is the biggest size of the 20-inch family. It's a 451 wheel set and fitted with V tire, 20x138 width. Lastly, for the brake, we've got mechanical disc brake from Tektro. It's the Tektro Myra, front and rear. Now, there's a little interesting story inside here that when we first received the news that we're going to review on this bike, it looks like a very simple and ordinary bike to us. I mean, you have seen it from the outlook to the components. It all looks like nothing special about it. But the moment I start riding it, I start to feel the magic in it. It is just a super fun bike to ride on. Now, I know that fun is a very subjective word and everyone has got a different definition. But to me personally, I think that a fun bike is one that allows you to do whatever you want it to do and does it very well. So this is what the Zeta Fitte is giving me, the kind of impression that it's giving me. Now, it can do many things. I can ride fast, I can go to an aggressive riding position like on a road bike, and I can handle climbs very well because of its wide range of gear selection. And it is very small and nimble, so it can maneuver very tight spaces, and it's just perfect for people like us who are living in the city. Well, I got a lot to tell you, and let me just find a good spot and tell you more. So this is the Polygon Zeta Fitte. It is priced at 899 Singapore dollars, and the total weight of this bike with the pedal on is 12.5 kg. Let's take a look at the components. We've got a drop bar fitted here, and the group set is a Shimano Tiagra group set. So we've got 2-speed in front and 10-speed at the rear. As for the crankset, we have a Praxis compact crankset. It is a 5034 chainring, and the cassette here is a 1134 Shimano cassette. For those of you who are not familiar with Praxis, it's actually a brand from Santa Cruz, California, and they are specialized in making drivetrain components such as the crankset and bottom bracket. As for the wheel set, we've got 20-inch wheel set, and it is the Zeta wheel set. So it is a stock wheel set, aluminum, and the tires we are fitted with V tire. In fact, it's V tire Speedster. The size is 20-138. Now on this Zeta Fitte, we've got a mechanical disc brake, and the calipers are using Tektro Myra. As for seat post, saddle, and the handle stem, they are all from Entity. So if you are looking at the components and with respect to the price, I think we got a lot of values in this Mini Velo. I'm going to tell you why this bike is so fun. So the first fun thing about this bike that I realized, compared to the other type of small wheel bicycle that I have, which is a foldable bike, I find that the acceleration by this bike is much better than that of a foldable bike. And I can think of why it is so. This is all thanks to the frame having no joints on it, not like foldable bike. So when you have no joints on the frame, the stiffness of the frame is very much preserved. And other than that, we also got a very large down tube here, and this adds to the stiffness of the frame. And with this, the bike is able to pick up and transfer the power from your legs to the wheels much quicker. For my casual rides, the bike can easily maintain at an average speed of 25 to 27 kilometers per hour, and you don't have to put in a lot of effort to maintain it. No, that's just for casual rides. And when I go for my training, I push it up to above 30 kilometers per hour, and surprisingly, it could still hold the speed very well. So it tells me that the power conversion of this bike is actually very good, which is why it's able to hold the speed very well. So the next fun thing about this bike is that it's got all the elements needed to make it the best all-rounder bike. The main attribute is this Shimano Tiagra group set. It's a 2x10 group set and it's very reliable. It's got a wide range of gear ratio for us to choose from. And to couple with this Praxis crankset with compact chainring of 50 and 34, we got a lightest ratio here that is a 1:1. And what does that mean? It means that the climbing is going to be very, very easy. To give you in some perspective, I was able to climb NTU without much of a difficulty, and I still have gears left. So I haven't even reached to the lightest gear. I was able to climb NTU as usual. So I believe this can handle a lot more than that. The next thing I want to tell you is how good this bike can maneuver urban terrains. This bike is also very small and nimble, and that is very good for city dwellers like us, especially like a place in Singapore where you don't often have the luxury of riding on the road. Sometimes you just have to alternate between PCN, which is a park connector, designated share paths, cycling paths, or even the pavements. So this bike got no problem for me when I'm maneuvering among these different road terrains. And it can also handle tight angles very well. I mean, it can do a very sharp cornering because of the wheelbase. It's actually very short, and it's just very agile to ride on this bike. There's something that I really like about this bike as well, and that is the wheel size. I think that for a small wheel bicycle, this size is most ideal. It's actually the bigger size of the 20-inch family. So it is a 451 wheel size, and the tire that is being used here is a V tire, the Speedster, and in particular, it is a 20x138 tire. Now for this width, it is actually very comfortable to ride on, and at the same time, it doesn't compromise on the speed too much. And if you look closely at the tread pattern of this tire, it's actually an all-weather tire. The grip is good for both dry and wet weather condition. And well, the only downside about this tire is that it can get dirty quite easily. I mean, it can trap all this dirt quite easily. Now, most of the time, I would prefer to have a compact drop bar for my road bike. But for this mini Velo, it seems that it's actually good to have a non-compact drop bar. The reason being, the bike itself has got a very relaxed geometry by nature. It is built to let you ride in a more upright posture. But when you want to go for a more aero riding posture, these deeper drop angles allows you to do just that. Also, there is some small detail about this bike that I like, and that being a semi-internal cable routing. Now, so you can see that these cables runs into the down tube, and they're all hidden inside from then on. So this actually reduces the wear and tear of these cables. And I also like that how they manage and make all the exposed cables very neat using small clips like this. And these are cable barrel adjusters. Here we've got both for the front shifter as well as the rear shifting cables. Right? These barrel adjusters allows you to do minor tuning and adjustments of your shifters. In case they are out of tune, you can still adjust them even while you're on the move because they are very easily accessible on the hood here. Right, so up till now, the bike is really, really fun. But I do have to tell you what is not so fun about this bike. And number one being that the bike is slightly on the heavier side in my opinion. So 12.5 kg, well, it is not exactly like super heavy, but I think a lot can be done to it to make it lighter. I mean, if you are able to make the bike like around 11 kg, that would make the bike a lot more attractive. Next is the brakes. Now, I gotta tell you that when I am trying to brake on this bike, it seems that the brakes are very spongy. What I mean by that is that I try to pull the brake lever hard, but it is still not braking very well. Now, I don't think it's got to do with the brake levers or the brake calipers because they are all very good quality parts. What I suspect is that this brake cable housings could be too soft, and as a result it actually compresses when I pull the brake lever. So as you pull the brake lever, the cables try to pull, and these housings, if they're not hard enough, they get compressed, and that's why you don't get a firm and hard brake. But it is not difficult to resolve. You can always just change out the brake cable housings to something that's of better quality, something that is stiffer, something that is harder. Also, I find a problem with the saddle. Now, I don't usually comment a lot on saddles because everyone has got a different build. So we more or less, there's no one saddle that can fit everybody, that I understand. But for this saddle in particular, I find that it generates heat very easily, especially around the seat bone area here. And well, it's not just me. Even Brian also tried on it, and we face the same issue that after a short ride, you'll feel that your butt is actually burning. So I don't know why. I guess it's because of the material used that it actually generates quite a lot of heat and doesn't dissipate the heat that well. So far, it's pretty much mechanical things that I find on this bike. But next is pretty much about the aesthetic side of the bike. Now, again, it's pretty much personal preference. I know colors is a very personal thing, but I would love to have it in a more vibrant color, something that is more loud, more funky would be really nice, because the DNA of this bike is just fun, but the exterior look is a little bit dull in my opinion, with a very small Polygon logo. So, but well, I understand that probably Polygon is going to trying to create a look that is more on the vintage side. But well, you know, this is just something that I wish it could be. Perhaps in the future batches or the later editions, that it can come up with more choices of colors so that it can really attract different type or different, you know, ages of riders. You know, somebody who like vintage, they can buy this, but people who want to have a more funky or more kind of interesting bike, then they can have something that is more brighter colors and bigger logos, most importantly, because we are all very proud of the Polygon brand, aren't we? Finally, is this cute little bell here. Well, it is definitely good to have a bell because you are using this mainly on a built-up urban terrain in the city, so you'll be bounded to meet with other cyclists or pedestrians, so always good to have a bell. But positioning of this bell is a little bit weird, so it's on the top grip and very close to the stem, so I find that it's not easy to access, because most of the time I'll be on the hood where I can access the brake levers, right? So it'll be better to have the bell somewhere closer to the brakes. Now then it will be really good on this bike. So it's very hard for me to tell you who should use it and how you should use it. I mean, for me, I will be happy to just add one more bike to my collection. I mean, simply because it is easy to store. It can do many different tasks. It can go on road, it can go on pavement, it can climb, it can go for long rides, it can go to marketings. I mean, just add on a side stand, you can add a rack, you can add fenders to make it an everyday bike. I mean, sky is really the limit. You can be creative about how you want to use this, but most importantly is how you can convince your wife that this is the bike that you need. And this Polygon Zeta Fitte Mini Velo costs only $899, and for all the goodness, all the fun, all the quality components that I've just shared with you, I think it is very worth it. So if you're interested in this bike, do check out the description below for more information. And well, thank you very much for being with us today. I hope you like this review and I'll see you soon. Do remember to give us your support by clicking the like and subscribe button. Bye bye.